Well, today we're in deep space with a crew of the Sulaco, and we're going to take a look at the games regarding the movie Aliens. Yes, still games, not just one.
RetroKork.
Aliens, in case you didn't know, is the sequel to the amazing film Alien, starring Sigourney Weaver as Ellen Ripley, who now in the second movie is allowed to show her more motherly side, though the reasons for that were cut in the original theatrical release. The Sulaco is headed for the planet where the first film took place, since the colony set up there has fallen silent. Now, as I said, there are multiple games covering this film, namely two, both of them very, very different, and they both covered the events near and on LV-426. In Electric Dreams, Aliens, the computer game from 1986, we're going through the Archeron base in search for the alien queen. Now, the colony is called Archeron, but the planet still is LV-426. The game is, if we're speaking completely technical here, it's a team-based ego shooter. That means you get to switch between members of the team, namely Ripley, Gorman, Vasquez, Hicks, Bishop, and Burke, while everything around them seems to fall apart. Because the threats you're facing, they're manifold. Well, they're aliens. That is, there's the regular alien, the so-called battle drone, the facehugger, and, well, there's the alien queen deep down in the bowels of the station, or base, better to say. Another problem, or another threat, though only indirectly, that you need to control is a biomechanoid surface covering, which will spread throughout the rooms, and it allows the spawning of eggs and facehuggers if enough of the wall covering is around. Plus, it covers up doors. Now, if it ends covering up, say, the generator room or the control room, the lights go out, which is no problem for the aliens, but of course, it's a problem for the members of your team. Now, this game is hectic, especially when the aliens attack on all fronts at the same time. Unfortunately, the Commodore 64 version of this game lacks music, while the other versions had music. The game was also released on the Amstrad CPC, the ZX Spectrum, and the MSX. I could bemoan the keyboard layout, but hey, that's something you can get used to, and yeah, especially with emulators, you can slow down, stop it, pause the action, basically. Anyway, this game takes a completely different approach than the Activision version does. Yes, Activision created in 1986 at the same time a game for the US market, whereas Electric Dreams only covered Europe. And Activision made it a multi-minigame title, starting off with one of the hardest, if not the hardest level I've ever encountered as a first level. It's basically Master of the Lamps on steroids, where you have to follow a path displayed on screen by a bunch of rings you fly through. Level 2 is a bit like Aliens, the board game, in that you try to maneuver 4 Marines to a safe place, in this case the APC. Level 3 is a side-scrolling game where you fend off aliens with a flamethrower, while Hicks tries to cut through the door. Level 4 is Newt, Ripley, and the Marines trying to find their way through the air ducts, in a more puzzle-like manner. Level 5 is a side view mission where Ripley is looking for Newt, and level 6 is the climactic battle against the alien queen using your power loader. All of these levels are framed by text explaining the events, sometimes an animated cutscene, based on digitized stills from the movie, it seems. Now, Activision's offering is a mixed bag. The games themselves seem to only have gotten an alien's facelift, so to speak. The sprites, they're not really there to win a beauty contest either. But if you don't mind minigames and you're there for the story, this game might be for you. At least if the high difficulty level at the very first level isn't putting you off, and those minor inadequacies with the tags and the relatively few animations in the cutscenes. If these things don't put you off, well, this may be the better game for you, especially because it has music. Yeah, it's hard, it's a tough call. Now, Activision's game was also released in Europe 1 year later, by Electric Dreams, of course, since they held the license to the European market, or for the European market, should I say. In two weeks, we'll take a look at a very cerebral, very introspective game. A game in which we live another life for another self. Or to say it in Latin, alter ego. But unfortunately, that episode will go up a day late because I'm going to be at BroCon that weekend, and I'll be returning on the Monday, and I'll try to make sure that the episode goes live at that time. I'm trying to make sure that it goes up technically earlier.